My name is Antonio Vega, and I'm from Telligent, and today we'll be going through the enrollment process with the Compass PTN. So currently up on the screen we have our welcome page where everyone will go to either log into their account or to request an account. So my first step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and request an account, and this is going to give me access to enroll my practices and my providers within the Compass PTN portal. So I'm going to scroll down until I see the button that says Ready to Enroll. I'm going to go ahead and select Request an Account. This is going to bring me into a page where we're asking for very basic demographics, and this is going to be the process in which your account is created. So I'm going to go ahead and put my first name in, my last name, and then the email address that I would like this to come back to. I'm going to go ahead and hit register. I get a thank you message letting me know that my email has been received. This is going to take somewhere about 24 hours before you get your actual message on back. Once you do, you'll get 2 emails with your username and password, and so this will allow you to log in and access your account. So I'm going to go ahead and back to the screen now that I have my username and password. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So when the first time you log into the Compass PTN portal, we have our terms and conditions that you'll need to sign off on. And so you are allowed here to go ahead and read through this. We require you to agree to the terms and conditions of the Compass PTN. So once I agree, I advance further into the system. I get to reset and put my new password in, as the password that you originally received is going to be a system-generated password, so you're allowed to put in something that you can remember. So I'm going to go ahead and create my password. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Again, I have a question here that will help me to reset my password if for whatever reason I forget that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the father's name, hit save once again, and now I'm into the system. First option I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and hit my home button. And we know we're in the system because my username and password option is no longer present. And so this tells me that I'm already in the system. Selecting home brings me into the enrollment dashboard. And so now, since this is the first time that I've enrolled within the Compass PTN portal, there are no practices filled out. So this is the process that I'm going to go through currently here. We have 2 options when we come into the enrollment dashboard. The first option is going to be enroll as a single practice or enroll as a multi-practice. Our enroll as a multi-practice option is really geared towards those either larger health systems or any practice that has multiple locations, as this is going to allow you to quickly fill out that form in a CSV format and allow you to upload that into the Compass PTN portal. So I'm going to go here and select my enroll multi-practice option first. And so as I select my enroll multi-practice, I have some instructions on the screen, as well as a template that I need to fill out in order to proceed within the enroll multi-practice option. So I'm going to go ahead and select my practice enrollment template, and you'll now see that I have a download that occurred on my screen. By selecting the download option, this is going to go ahead and open the template that is required to fill out and upload into the system. And so we are asking for all information that is required to proceed and enroll practices in here. So this is going to be step 1 for those multi-practice options. Anything that is in bold and marked required is needed in order to enroll into the Compass PTN portal. If any of that information is not present, your file will be rejected and you'll get an email notifying you that you have a couple errors that need to be fixed in order to proceed in enrolling within the Compass PTN. So I actually already have a form filled out. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that. This way you don't have to watch me go through field by field and fill that out. So I have my template. I'm going to go ahead and select Enroll, and then Upload File. As you can see, I have a green success message up top letting me know that I've successfully uploaded a file. Scrolling down below, I can see the file that I just uploaded, the person who submitted it, so my name obviously, and then the status was a success, so that the file was actually uploaded. Couple things to note is that when you upload this file, it needs to be in a CSV file format. So that is an option when you go to save and save as. There's an option to save it as a CSV file. In case you're not familiar with that process, these instructions right here will walk you through step by step of how to upload and save it as a CSV file. And so that is very important. And then this process can take anywhere from 15 minutes at the longest to get these files processed. You will receive an email when your file has been processed, so you'll know exactly when to go back in and log in. So at most it will take 15 minutes. It can be anything shorter than that. It's just kind of when you upload the file. So as we wait for that, there's a couple things that I'd like to point out here. Once your practices are uploaded, there's a couple unique features within here that you need to kind of draw your attention to. So the first one is going to be this practice ID option. This practice ID is going to be your unique identifier for each practice that is enrolled within the Compass PTN. And so this unique identifier is what you're going to need whenever you're submitting either a support ticket or filling out the BA or anything like that that is requiring you to have your unique identifier. So we really want to get practices used to filling that out. Your status option is going to let you know how far you are in the enrollment process. So here you are basically applying to be within the Compass PTN portal. So we need to make sure that all your information is there, that you're eligible to enroll, and once you're in an approved status, you actually have more access to the system. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the Enroll Single Practice Here option. I'm just going to walk you through it as we wait for the trigger to hit and move forward with this. So the Enroll Single Practice option, as I mentioned previously, is going to be for practices that are enrolling just a single practice. And so this is going to be a very quick and easy way to really enroll just one practice without having to fill out the CSV format file and then upload it again. And so here is just some very basic questions that we need you to answer in order to enroll within the Compass PTN. So our first option is, are you part of a health system? So this is a yes-no question. How you answer this question will kind of give you additional questions to answer or remove other questions. So if I do select yes, I am part of a health system, you can see that the menu options now expand and there's several different questions that I need to fill out in order to proceed. So quick thing to note is that anything that is marked as optional is just that, it's optional. You don't have to fill it out. Anything that does not have the word optional next to it is a question that is required, and you will not be able to submit your final questionnaire until all those fields are filled out. And so here you can see my health system legal name is required, address, health system, all that kind of stuff is required because the optional is not noted next to it. So as I move forward, I will go ahead and hit no, as these are just very basic questions about your health system. Once I go to my practice information, you can see I am required to put my practice name, my TIN, and all my street address. Quick thing to note is that anyone listed as a practice point of contact will have access to the data submission portion of our Compass PTN portal. We do have additional trainings on that as well that are in video format that you can watch once you get to that point. So anyone who is a practice point of contact and an alternative practice point of contact will have the option and the ability to log into the Compass PTN portal and fill out information on behalf of the practice. So let's go ahead and navigate to the dashboard and see if that trigger is hit already. So this is a soft warning asking if I want to leave the page. I haven't saved anything. I'll go ahead and say yes. So our file has not been loaded yet, so we'll go ahead and fill out a single practice. So in order to proceed with this, there's a couple things that we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put that my practice name is. In order to save this, I need to have two things filled out. I need to have my practice name and then the state that my practice is a part of. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm part of Minnesota here. And I'm going to go ahead and save it and complete later. The Save and Complete Later option will allow me to kind of save halfway through the form and come back to it at a later time. Once I do that Save and Complete Later, I can navigate back to the dashboard and see that that practice that I just put in for there is actually on the dashboard. So I can see my Main Street practice, the practice ID, like I was saying, is very important to make sure that we have that and that you're aware of that. So that is my there. Since I did not fill out any practice point of contact, that is not present currently. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this form, and you can kind of see as we go through some of the logic as we're going through this. So I'm going to go through and complete all the stuff that is required. Again, anything that is uniquely formatted or that needs to have a unique format, there'll be additional help text underneath the field letting you know how we want it. So obviously a 10 is a 9, unique digit that is unique to your practice. We don't want any dashes or spaces, so it's simply just those 9 numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that out. So once I've filled out my practice state, we're requiring you to leave that as is because that is how we are having your unique identifier drawn off. So you saw on my practice field that I have a Minnesota and then a unique identifier. Again, once you try to change that and save it, you would get an error message. So we're encouraging practices not to do that. Once you do it, just leave it as is. And then if you know your 4-digit extension for your zip code, go ahead and put that in. If you don't, either put in 4 zeros or leave it blank. Either one is fine. Our practice phone number. And here's where I can put in my practice point of contact. And so now, again, we have the other option for an alternative point of contact, and again, this person would have the option to access the system. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one blank. Our Compass PTN partner, so this is going to be the quality improvement organization that you're working with that will be working with your practice to ultimately improve the quality of your healthcare. So I'm going to go ahead and select that I'm part of the Telegen PTN partner. And then we just have some basic questions about your practice. So are you part of a medically underserved? And again, if you're not aware of this stuff, we do have some links that will help you kind of define these terms as we're looking for them. So go ahead and fill this out. This is going to be the and then we have our program participation. So again, just some other questions that are required in order to make sure that you are eligible to enroll as part of the Compass PTN. So now you'll notice one thing here, that after I hit the Save and Complete Later, the very first time when I put that practice name and state in, I now have 2 new sections within this form that I need to fill out in order to approve my practice. So this is my clinician information. My clinician information is going to be how I put all the providers that are associated with my practice as part of this practice. So again, this is going to be another enrollment template. So I'm going to go ahead and select my enrollment, and this is asking me to save. So I'm going to actually go ahead and save first.